This episode is brought to you by the members of the You Run Podcast Network. All of their shows and our own can be found at yourunpodcast.com, along with links to our socials and to our shop. So please head over to yourunpodcast.com today and find your next podcast experience. We are the home of entertainment.
You always did have more balls than brains.
Yeah. Goodbye, Benny.
You want to die tonight?
The dad jokes Chantel sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcast or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. But do not want that.
Yeah, that's enough of that. Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Review from the You Run Podcast, the interactive horror movie review show where you pick the movies, you pass opinion on absolutely everything, including us. My name is Scott.
My name is Marc.
And we are your hosts each and every Monday as we make your commute to work or your lunchtime or whatever else you do better. Because Mondays suck and we make them not suck as much.
Well, we try.
We try. Like I said, we're an interactive show. And if you want to be part of the show, head over to yourunpodcast.com. And there you'll find links to all of our social media or search at You Run Podcast on any social media platform. And we'll probably pop up in some capacity. If you are an Instagrammer, then follow us there because that's where you get to vote for the movies on this show. It's also where you can find my follically challenged co-host, VHS from the Crypt or Reviews from the Crypt, because he deserves love too.
I don't feel like the follically challenge bit was necessary, but okay, I appreciate the help.
It probably wasn't, but I don't know. I'm in a funny mood. You can also drop us an email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com, or leave us a voicemail by recording an audio DM on Instagram or X. If this is your first experience of the show, welcome. We'll be bringing you a brief synopsis of the movie, followed by our review. Later on in the show, we've got some facts, and we've also got the return of our unbeaten quiz, Broken Spirit 2.0, not to mention a ton of other features that are fun and interactive and cool. We're also joined by guests today, and it's become a thing now for the last episode of the month, and my God, today you are in for a treat. So our guests are two friends who love to talk horror movies. They also like to bicker and argue while delivering endless amounts of laughs. These wonderful ladies have been on the show before, all the way back in 2021, where they provided a segment for a special episode that I wasn't on at all. That was a Screen 3 episode where everyone else took over and done stuff, and I come on and done a quiz and then had the painful task of editing it all together. That was a chore. We've done that once, never ever again.
No.
Strap in and get comfortable because it's going to be interesting. Wild as fuck, I think, is the phrase I'm going to go with. It's our pleasure to welcome fellow Sharknado completionists, Chantel
Well, we're not there
and Katie.
yet.
Well, no, nor are they. They're not as far as we are. Welcome to the show, Katie and Chantel, the hosts of the horror-friendly podcast.
Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to.
We're trying to do HF and it didn't work. So.
Hello. How are you?
Yeah. Hi, guys.
Welcome to the show. Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
I'm enjoying your Sharknado love. Well, not so much from you, Tel.
That was a very strong, wrong word.
How far in are you?
2. We've done
Oh
2.
shit! Oh shit! Oh, you're in. Oh my god.
Yeah, like Scott commented on Instagram and was like, "Wait till you see Jedward," and there was someone else.
Jerry Springer.
It gets wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
is there for a while.
Nice.
But they killed off Ben, and Ben was the best part of number 2.
Ben
So
the taxi driver.
is it even worth continuing?
Probably not. No, I would advise you don't waste any more time. But
I had a real hate for the first one. I don't know why. It made me irrationally angry.
Yeah, it was like a weird amount of hatred that Tell had.
yeah,
Like,
I did the same.
I hated 1, I hated 2, and then number 3 actually got a perfect score from me. I loved 3.
Which was wild.
It was.
I still don't agree with that score whatsoever.
Well, if we keep drinking our pints of wine, maybe we'll watch number 3 later.
we'll see how it goes.
We're going to give you a chance to tell everyone all about your show a little bit later on. But before that, we're going to get into this review because we've got a banging episode lined up. So, love knows no bounds. Even death cannot keep some people apart. Well, not when a bumbling Egyptianologist, that's a hard word, Evelyn, and her Indiana Jones wannabe sidekick Rick accidentally resurrect the mailed lover of an ancient Egyptian queen. Now, awake Imhotep is desperate to get his dusty nuts wet again by completing a ritual to resurrect his lost love, Anoxamamoon. You're right there, Mark. You nearly lost it then.
Yeah. You keep going, mate.
Okay.
You're reading the right description, not the porno version. Is that gone?
Only problem is he needs the body of Evelyn to place her soul into. Question is, can Rick, Evelyn, and Evelyn's dopey brother stop the ancient order or work with the ancient order to stop the undead resurrected from performing the ritual before he becomes invincible? I'm sure you all know what we're doing, but if you don't, today we are covering The Mummy from 1999.
That is the most I've ever known you struggle.
Uh-huh.
That's
really
the most I've ever known you struggle with an intro.
I wrote it earlier, and when I wrote it earlier, it was like perfect. And then when I read it back, I was like, that makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Welcome to podcasting.
We start this movie in 1290, and we get a flashback of Imhotep and Anoxamamoon. I'm going to say it now. She's a hoe, and he's a bad man.
I mean, that's a bit judgy.
That's valid.
Is it? You don't know this guy. He might be a right dick. She might have reason to be like falling in love with the hunky balls man.
Like, because this is the thing. Back in, what was it, 1290?
Yeah.
Like, let's guarantee she did not marry her husband for love. That was a forced marriage.
Most probably.
Yeah. Exactly. So, like, she probably is falling for this hunky guy because he isn't the person she was forced to marry. Like, I'm going to defend that, like, finding love out. Because, marriage wasn't love.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you all here. I don't actually think the mummy is a bad guy in this movie.
I don't think he's a bad guy. I think
he's misunderstood.
He's misunderstood.
I could fix him.
Oh no!
You mean Hercules?
Okay, that gives me a good idea where this episode's going.
It's a whole story about him just trying to get back with the woman he loves and the woman that, like, all of us have lost a loved one and wanted to bring them back from the dead. Like,
yeah, of course, I've done that before.
Guy. He's doing the most human thing, grieving.
Yeah. He does grieve for quite a long time. So they get caught. They get caught doing the nasty. Well, not even doing the nasty. He touched her and rubbed some paint off, and the king goes absolutely ballistic and has her. Well, she stabs herself to save herself from being killed, and he gets mummified alive, has his tongue cut out, and then they throw the scarab beetles on him and close the top. Like, that is not a way to go.
No. I'm just saying the crime doesn't fit. Like, the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
No.
Yeah, that's savage.
Not when we all know that king. Yeah, again, did not marry for love. Like, God knows what that poor woman had to go through.
Yeah, I think times were a little bit different. I don't think you would have got away with this kind of punishment today, but I think it's very brutal the way they take him out. And considering like the rating on this movie, I wasn't quite prepared for how graphic it was so early on, especially with like the suggested nudity and stuff like that as well. I'm sure this movie was aimed towards like younger audiences when it came out.
Yeah, I've got some bits in facts about the nudity because there's actually a pair of testicles in this movie that blink and you miss it.
I certainly did.
Actually,
yeah, I completely missed that.
Yeah. Well, again, are you sure you're watching the right one?
Yeah, I'm going to say, judging by your intro, I think we might have been watching the wrong movie.
Oh, damn! What have I watched? No,
The mummy and daddy.
No, I found facts, and then I went back to check, and there is definitely a shot of testicles in a PG movie, which shocked me a lot. That it's still in there,
Right?
Not
that's mad that you got through.
We get to meet Rick, who is played by Brendan Fraser. He is a sexy man. I'm going to say it now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like this is the most like
no denial.
Maybe just the two of them, but they're like the most attractive. You would say it's like the most attractive cast just ever. Like,
so you said two of them. Who's the other two?
Well, you know, like Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser. Like, they're both just insanely beautiful in this film. It's ridiculous.
I thought you meant the mummy you were trying to fix.
Well,
every time I think of Brendan Fraser now, I can't imagine him as anything else other than Rick from The Mummy.
Yeah.
Even now, like when he's winning these awards for like The Whale and stuff, I'm like, oh, that's Rick from The Mummy.
See, I still have as well, like George of the Jungle.
Yeah, I was never a George of the Jungle guy growing up.
My parents just let us watch it, so I've seen Brendan Fraser like topless most of my childhood. Like that was just in a loincloth. That was perfectly normal. No testicles.
No, not in that one.
Not in that one. They were very careful.
What's everyone's thoughts on Benny?
I like Benny.
Of course you do. Why do you like
I do
Benny?
like Benny because he's just trying to survive, isn't he? I mean, he's a coward. He's not somebody you would want by your side in this situation, but I just feel for him, man. He gets done dirty at every turn, and he deserves it, undoubtedly, but still, he has that little bit of charm about him.
Like that opening scene where they're part of the French Foreign Legion, they're being stormed down by the army. And he's like, "Are you with me, Benny?" And Benny's like, yeah, 100% in. And then as they get closer, he just like goes, nah, drops his rifle and runs away. It's like, you dick. You've just left him to die.
Coward. He's the one that gets chucked off the boat as well, isn't he?
He is, yes. Yeah. He's the one who just basically sides with the highest payer at every turn.
Yeah. Like this is clearly like he's ended up in this role in his life. And he clearly just wants an office job. He just wants a 9 to 5. Like he would have been better as a librarian. Like he was not for the adventure.
No, he's not cut out for the survival lifestyle.
No, still a dick though, because he was like, he's like highest bidder, but it was all just greed in the end. So.
It was. And like I really like this opening scene where you get like I forgot, and me and Mark spoke about this off the air. I completely forgot this bit at the beginning where he finds Hamanatra first and you get the face come out of the sand. I forgot any of this was in this movie. And I was like, I don't remember this. Oh, there's a oh shit, he found it like ages before. All of this just gone. Didn't remember a thing.
I don't remember a single thing about this movie. The first hour build up, I was like, yeah, okay, right. Maybe that's just not fresh in my memory. We spend an hour getting to like the Lost Village or whatever it's called. And I'm like, right. So then the second half, I'm like, yeah, they're going to do this. They're going to do that. I'm just thinking about The Mummy Returns. That's the movie I grew up with, is The Mummy Returns. And when none of that happened in this film, I was like, have I even seen The Mummy before?
I don't remember the last time I watched this. I would have been a kid because again, like we grew up with it.
Yeah, I only watched this a couple of years ago.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't remember shit. And I was like, oh, it's Brendan Fraser, Mummy. Yeah, obviously. And then as I was watching it, as you say, I was like, yeah, a lot of this is new to me.
Yeah, 90% of it was new to me. I remembered the opening bit and maybe the last 30 minutes, if that, maybe 20 minutes at best. But everything in between, the hour and 40 minutes, I was like, I did not even know this existed in this film.
It's excessively long as well. This movie is excessively long. I could cut 30 minutes from this and tell the same story easily.
Easy.
You say that though, but I don't feel like there was a lot that I would have personally wanted to cut. I didn't feel like there was any particular point in the movie that was dragging. it was all changing quite drastically from location to location. It never felt slow, and I never wanted the movie to pick up the pace and get to the next segment. I enjoyed it. When I first put it on, I even messaged you. I was like, fuck me. The Mummy's like 2 hours and 9 minutes. What the fuck? But I didn't feel that when I was watching it.
I did.
Oh, did you girls?
It definitely could have been sped up.
You definitely will.
Yeah, okay. I'm on
No,
my
I-
own then.
Fucking 10
No,
minutes.
I love a quick to the point film. But it was like you say, like he found it so much earlier in the film, and then also we had to sit there and watch a sunset for ages, and then watch them race across. And like again, it's not that those weren't relevant scenes and good scenes, but it's like they could have just been sped up.
Yeah.
But also, why were they waiting for the Lost City 100 yards away from where the Lost City was going to? Like, wait closer if you're on a time limit. Dear God, like just
Yeah.
logic.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have got the cool camel race if they'd have done that.
Well, exactly. But you know what I mean? It's like they could have other ways, but it's just one of those things. You're like, you definitely, or like again, how many nights were they there? Where they had like sleepovers with the Americans, and it was like you didn't need like several sleepovers, just one.
No, I do
sunset.
get that. Yeah, I don't get why they kept going in and then coming out and taking breaks and stuff. Like they could, once they were in, they could have stayed in, and the movie didn't need to keep pulling out in order to progress further. I do get your point in that, and that I didn't notice it at the time, but now you do bring it to my attention. I'm like, yeah, actually, that's a fair statement. They do keep coming out in various increments as well. I'm like, but again, I suppose you could use the logic that they use the mirrors to light up the tombs. So when the sun goes down, they do have to get out because it's too dark.
True, and I think it's realistic that an archaeological dig, like even with this, where they're just exploring tombs, isn't a one-day job. But it's still one of those where it's a movie. Like we allow for some unrealism. Where and again, like the poor mummy spent half the film still as a mummy. Like it took him ages to become a full human again. But then all of a sudden, all the plagues had happened, and I was like, that was fucking quick. I went another 10 plagues, and they were just done. I was like,
Yeah. They weren't executed very well either. It was like they were drinking shots in the bar, and 1 minute the plague was, ooh, it turned the water to blood. And I was like, I feel like there could have been a bit more effort put into this.
Yeah. I think that the problem with this movie is they focus solely on Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. So, like the amount of build that they give Rachel Weisz's character from that very first scene where she knocks all the bookshelves down, which is really like you're like, I feel really sorry for you.
Like that's going to take you so long to sort out. Like,
I think in my head I was like, that is something I would do because I'd just be like, I can reach, and I've got way too much overconfidence, and I would end up knocking over.
Yeah, but it's like it's just so inconvenient, though.
No, I know. I am an inconvenience, right?
I love Jonathan. Jonathan is my favorite character in this. Evelyn's brother. I think he is so good. Every scene he's in, he lifts everyone else around it. So when he first shows up and he pops up in the esophagus and he lifts up the dead person, she's like, show some respect. He's like, he doesn't mind, and like slings his arm over the coffin and his arm around him. He's like, he's my friend, and like, I like you. You're a dick, but I think you're cool. And like the fact he's stolen this artifact and it's got the map inside, like this whole setup is so well done. I really, really like this. The setup and the set design and like the actual box thing itself is all really cool.
Yeah. I have to feel like it's buried in facts somewhere as well. I feel like there must have been some sort of research, other than the fact that this was made by Universal to create a ride. I'm sure there must have been a ride at Universal just to make this movie. Yeah, I thought that was the case, but I do feel like there has to be some sort of factual verification behind a lot of the things implemented within this film.
Wasn't it a remake?
Yes, it is a remake.
There is an earlier The Mummy, because I always think of this as the original, but there was an earlier one.
There's like 12, I think.
There's loads. There's The Mummy, The Curse of the Mummy, then this, then we got the other remake with Tom Cruise, which we just won't talk about because it's atrocious.
Bury that. That and give it a curse.
So there's a scene in this where Evelyn goes to save Rick. So they find out that Rick her brother stole the box off of Rick, and they go to this jail where Rick's being held. And I read some stuff online. So Rick's about to die. She leans in really close to the cage. He steals a kiss. I read some reviews earlier where people were just going off, going, "This is wrong. This is sexual assault. Like this is so bad." And I'm like, "Oh, like, what's your take on this?" Because like, first off, I'm like, it's a movie. Second off, I'm like, he's about to die. He took a kiss. Yeah, it's probably not right, but
I think
I mean,
it's-
surely you would think you could fix him, so you'd be all right.
Well, exactly. No, I just think like it goes with that swashbuckler sort of film vibe, really, where it's like, you kiss the woman and then you go and do what you need to do. Like, I think it fitted in quite well, really. Like, I wasn't offended by it at all. I think it's just one of those kind of adventure films that you sort of.
I generally, my brain is like, did I blink and miss this? Like, I literally don't remember that happening. But again,
I thought it was fine. I thought, like, it added to the kind of vibe of the film where it was very much like it's sort of adventure. It's fun. It's know.
I just don't see how you could possibly be offended by this. To the point where you're like, we need to cancel the Mummy. This is so offensive to women. I mean, I'm not a woman. I don't get me wrong. I'm not in a position to pass comment, but seriously.
Like, we've had this conversation with quite a few films, and it's like sometimes like when they are set in the 80s or the 90s, you are a bit more forgiving, because not because it's right, because if a guy, like, I'd have loved her to have smacked him for that, but it doesn't make it right. But at the time, it was much more forgiving. Society was much more like, didn't recognize that as a problem. So we've said this a lot, like sometimes when it is an older film, you do have to be like, and again, like, of the time is not the excuse, but like it was of the time. But also, I don't think this wasn't set in the 90s. Like, it was set slightly further back as well.
Where, and again, 1926. This is set pre-World War II.
Yeah, and again, like, they even say, like, they've got a woman on the team. What does she know? Like, they don't have respect for women. Like, that's very clear in the film. And I know it's kind of a comedy and a kids film, but actually, like, that's very true. Like, men did think they could do that. So even if you're flagging it, it's like, okay, yeah, but don't counsel the Mummy, because it's just pointing out that did happen. You can't just erase it and pretend it never happened.
But that's not why it did it. They did it.
No,
because
but you know, they weren't trying to make a political statement.
No, but I mean, even now though, like, even if this was something that happened in a modern day movie, and everyone was up in arms about it, it's like, why are you so offended by something like this? Because there is people in the world who would do this. There is men who would do this to a woman, and it's not advocating it in the film. It's just saying he's that type of character. You don't have to be offended by somebody else's actions in a movie. And it's I don't get this whole woke culture thing. I think it's wild to me. It's just a fucking film, man, and it's a 90s fucking Mummy film, and people are up in arms about this. It's like, what? Have a day off, man.
But the thing is, even if they make a film today, based today, and a guy does that, like you say, men do that. Like, that happens. So you can't just erase it from films and pretend life is perfect.
No. That's more of a problem by not showcasing the problem.
There's been several like female celebrities, like musicians, who have put like eating disorders in their music videos and been criticized for it. You're like, oh yeah, because that helped that. Oh, eating disorders now don't exist because it's not a music video. It's not the world fucking works.
No, it's not.
It's real.
Exactly. I know we're going well off track here, but it is a valid point.
No, but it is that, like, you can't just cancel it out of films because it doesn't stop the actual problem. Like,
no, it's like saying you can't make a movie about aliens because they're not real. I'm offended because you've made a movie about aliens. It's like, fuck off, man.
Don't. I reckon if you go to IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes and have a look through the reviews, there will be someone who's in there who's offended by the original Alien. I'm sure there'll be a review.
Yeah, it's just
too fucking long.
Stupid.
Yeah, she was fucking offended by it.
It's too long. First 30 minutes, we're just watching them wake up. Like, my morning routine does not take that fucking long.
Don't stop, because then you'll start talking about the thing, and that will fuck me up.
Well, let's move on before it all implodes. So Rick gets saved by the girl. When he's saved, he's like full beard like me.
Okay, that's a problem. The girl gets a name. It's Evelyn.
I think we're going to be in a lot of trouble on this episode, Scott.
Sexy Mann, ich hab mehr Sex als eine Frau aushalten.
Anyway, when he gets saved, he's got a full ass beard, and when he gets to the dock, he is clean shaven and very handsome. And she does the she's going, I wouldn't be interested anyway. He's an absolute yeah, okay. He's not a savage at all. I quite like him.
Would you girls? What do you think? Brendan Fraser, hot?
Fraser, he seems like the nicest guy. Like, again, between him and the brother, do you not want to go for a pint with them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think there'd be a right laugh on a night out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like, absolutely.
Bring Rachel Wise along, and yeah, everything's good.
Swing.
But it is funny that somehow he did manage to find a barber after getting hung.
And he had a great haircut, and like suddenly just looked.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened? Like,
yeah, he looked $1 million.
The two main characters are very like beautiful.
It's Hollywood. They're
aesthetically
attractive.
beautiful,
It's Hollywood.
Like,
Yeah.
Epitome of Hollywood.
We get on the boat and they're going to where they're going, and this is where we meet Benny again, and we also meet the Americans. Now, the Americans in this movie are the most stereotypical, like full-on That's how they're portrayed. And the thing is, like, throughout the 90s, this is, if you had a British team and an American team, the British team are like, oh, hello, we're going to find this. And the Americans like, fuck yeah, we're going to go with our shotguns and blow everything up. Like, there's no need to do that, but I do find it funny.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Film, so they were just taking the piss out of themselves.
Yeah. I think the thing for me was like, there's that one guy on the American team that looks like the Wish version of Brendan Fraser. And I kept thinking about that scene in Zombieland 2, do you know, where Jesse Eisenberg has that like knockoff version of himself. And every time the two of them were on screen, I just couldn't help but laugh. I was like, this is brilliant.
It's also really funny that you got an English team and an American team, obviously going to a foreign country to pillage an ancient art. Absolutely no credit to the locals who are doing half the fucking work.
No.
It's so real, and then just being absolute assholes about it the entire film. It's almost like it's based in history. And then even the English brothers like, oh, I happened upon this. It's like, you stole. You absolutely stole.
Yeah.
So pretty much they've nailed us in America perfectly.
Yeah.
We just rock up, take what we want, and go. Yeah, they got it right.
Well, you won't get nothing back. Like, wow, we are shit.
we get the camel race, and I'll be honest, I've got nothing to say about the camel race apart from why this was the most
I just don't understand. Is a camel actually faster than a horse? Because I just didn't buy. I thought camels were quite slow.
I googled, it is. Camel can run faster than a horse, a lot faster as well.
It's because there's Gatorade in their humps, so they just. It's because they couldn't do a kart race, so they had to do something.
So
it was cool. I like the camel race.
Camel drift.
If this came out now, we'd be able to bet on the camels and be like, right, who's coming first?
The thing
again,
is,
Paul Benny gets the short straw in this as well.
You really have
but
feel
Benny's
bad
a
for
little
Benny,
bitch.
don't you? Like Benny's
He is. I just feel sorry for him, man. I just feel like he's just always at the wrong place at the wrong time.
like he should have stayed in the library. Like
yeah, and especially at the end, like he gets the worst death as well out of everybody, and I'm like, oh, poor Benny.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
but you know, it's deserved.
Yeah, I agree.
It kind of is, yeah.
I don't. Benny's the sort of person that you would meet on a night out, and after 3 or 4 pints, you'd go, "You need to go away, otherwise this night's going to end very badly for you." That's who Benny is.
He's a round dodger. That's who Benny is.
Yeah, but Benny is the guy who, when it's his round, goes to the toilet. That's who Benny is.
Yeah. He goes to bed, sleeps with socks on. He's that kind of guy. He just gets energy.
He goes to bed with his socks on. Oh, okay. We're learning a lot about you tonight. This is interesting.
We are.
I'm just saying loads of shit.
It's fine that even if he wears the socks, Katie can fix him. It's fine.
Yes, this is true. You love a project.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
They both go and do their own digging. The Americans find the Book of the Dead, and the British find the actual mummy. And then that night, Evelyn nicks the book and starts reading from it. It's like she's never seen The Evil Dead. And she just reads
Right.
out loud from the book.
Well, she would have done this. It's filmed in 1920s, so
Yeah, but she's also the librarian with all the information.
Yeah.
Like,
The clever
how does
one.
she not know not to read from that book?
and she even says before it is a book of the dead because it's not gold. I'm like, okay, so maybe don't read this version and go and find the gold one.
But you don't
And
find
this-
it weird that the book of the dead brought people back to life and the book of the gold killed people?
Yeah.
It's like the only
Yeah.
one who's like backwards.
And the other thing I always find this weird in movies, how many times do you pick up a book and read it aloud? You pick up a book
If it's
and you read it in
magical,
your
all the
head
time.
Yeah,
all the
that's true.
time.
If it's magical, it's a spell, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, it's like, it is going back to the Evil Dead, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
why the fuck would you read that? Fucking Eric.
Eric.
Eric from the reboot.
Like, he's such a twat.
Yeah,
He is a dick in that movie.
he is.
It's the same as this, like, there was
Chantel hates Eric.
there was so much effort put into doing the wrong thing. Like, he had so many warnings. Like,
Yeah.
and it's the same as this, like, all the Book of the Dead, they had to physically dig it up. Like, and amazingly, the librarian who knew everything was the smart one didn't know not to read it, but the American did, who unfortunately didn't tell anyone that before he fell asleep.
Yeah, and, like they read it, and the mummy comes back, and we get that first kill where you get the scarab in the guy's face, and like that's awful. Like of all the
Yeah.
ways to go, like that's the one where I'm like, oh no, like rip my head off, like throw me down a pyramid, like anything, but do not let a bug get under my skin and start eating me. Ugh.
Right.
No, it gives like full alien vibes. It reminds me of that scene in Evolution where it's like, take the leg. Has anyone seen Evolution? The Dave Duchovny movie with the aliens? That's cool. No, okay, you girls are just like, yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, I have. Like,
Have you?
Yeah, like
Yeah, it's got like Stifler in it and stuff. It's like a really cheesy movie that everybody hated when it came out.
Yeah, don't take the leg on the runner.
Yeah.
And then no, it just clicked as you said leg. I was like, I have.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh my god, the wine's coming out.
Sorry. I was trying to make it as subtle as possible, but it wasn't.
Anyone who's watching this on YouTube, it is now like watching the movie Cocktail.
I was just about to say.
We didn't have time to get the shaker, so we're just going basic.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Just cancel us there, it'll be fine.
This is where Benny redeems himself for me. Benny is hilarious here when he comes face to face with the mummy, and he's got every single talisman of every single religion and knows every single prayer of protection in every single language and just cycles through them until he gets the right one. Like this was like, well done.
Yeah. Sums his character up perfectly as well.
Yeah,
He's a coward in every religion.
Yeah.
But it worked.
It did. And I like this as well because it shows that, yes, he is a coward, but he's actually a very clever coward. He's not stupid.
Well, if he was clever, he would have started with the Star of David first.
Well, I mean, he was the one who initially took Rick to the place. That's how Rick knows where it is. It's because Benny took him there. He hired Benny in the first place. And then obviously then that's how he becomes in the fold. So the only reason Rick knows where it is because of Benny.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. I think we need we need
I'm going to stop
address it
defending
now.
Benny now, I think. I'm just getting a little bit too
Mark,
heavy on the whole Benny love.
Mark's actually
You're outnumbered.
the remake. Mark playing Benny's is really always the porno version. Is that what Tasha's for?
No, that's not.
Yeah. It's our very own Ron Jeremy.
I hate you all.
How do we all feel about the CGI in this movie?
Oh, it's so bad, but so good because it was the
It's all right. I actually think
I think it's not that bad at all. I've seen movies that have come out around a similar time of this that have not held up half as well as this movie has.
This is it. Like,
I think it's still pretty solid.
bad, but it's held up, like you say, a lot better than a lot.
I mean, people talk about Jurassic Park and they go back and say, like, yeah, Jurassic Park looks so real. Like, if you actually go back and watch Jurassic Park now, it is very noticeable the elements of CGI throughout that first film. people still glorify it as being like the greatest thing ever. I don't think this is too far off. I mean, it's nowhere near as top quality as Jurassic Park is, but I think in terms of holding its own over the years, I do think it still looks pretty good. There weren't a moment, I mean, and I watched this on 4K as well, which usually highlights even more the fucking glaring problems with CGI, especially dated ones. And I still thought it looked fine. There was never a moment where I was like, that's ridiculous, especially considering how much there actually is throughout this film.
And I've seen it quite a few times since I've watched it when I was younger, and that's never been something I've pointed out where it's been like, oh, that's fucking stupid. Like it's very much like you're kind of immersed in it, so you don't really sort of feel like, you know.
But I think that's it. I think it's bad, but it's good. But I think there is, like you say, it's aged a bit better than most, but it's also like that childhood nostalgia where you're like, it's supposed to look like that because it's a 90s film and it's a childhood film, and like again, I think
it's held up, you know.
It's held up, but we also like I wouldn't associate this. Like again, as a kid, this would have been a horror film, but we're watching it now and we're like, I'm not scared of it.
Oh, I don't know that beginning bit that's fucking scared me as a kid, and like when he gets mummified.
Oh, sorry, right?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I thought you meant the kiss, and I was like, well, all kisses are scary when you're a child.
No, I'm actually talking about the actual scary bit. Yeah, no, it's like I remembered that bit.
Yeah,
like from when I was a kid to now, and like it might not be, you know, terrifying, but it's still something that sticks with you. So I think this is one of those films that holds up, like, you know, maybe not as much, but like Jurassic Park, where you have that nostalgia, and the CGI is all right, I think.
There's one or two bits that are worse than the others, but like
like the souls coming out of the floor, like the purple soul thing, that's pretty rough. And there's a couple of moments in the fight sequence later on where Brendan Fraser's, and I think this is more a me thing than anything else because of the technology world we live in and social media and all the rest of it. I saw a reel where, do you know the fight scene with Brendan Fraser where he's like hopping around and releasing Evelyn's chains?
Yeah,
there's actually a reel like kicking about on Instagram. That's all CGI, barring Brendan Fraser with a sword and hair strapped to the bed, and he's just fighting thin air. And then they show you it with the CGI added in, and it's really cool to see him just fighting nothing and then them add it in afterwards. So I think I noticed it more on that scene in particular because I was looking out for it.
So I actually questioned when that happened. I literally said, I was like, I wonder if they were like stunt doubles or stunt performers put in.
No, it's just Brendan Fraser just going and just punching thin air, and then they just added it all in afterwards.
Yeah, so I was like, it's either all CGI or it was stunt doubles who were wearing like the green and then got CGI'd.
No, this was well before the whole morph green suits. It was just Brendan Fraser just huffing and puffing over nothing, and then they added it all in. It's really funny to watch him play it out and choreograph it with nothing there.
You know, actors in the 90s do not get enough credit for like fake fight scenes because that's hard, man. I say this if I do it on the daily, but
it's hard work.
It's real hard work, like pretending to fight with things.
From here, we get this really rushed sort of. We get the rushed plague, so we get the locusts, we get the blood. Like they literally just barrel through these, and none of them really impact anything. And I was a bit like, okay. And in the process of this, they kidnap Evelyn because he needs Evelyn to put a Noxamamoon's soul in so he can resurrect his wife.
She didn't seem that phased about this either. When they were like, "That's the plan," she didn't seem that concerned.
No, and the thing is as well, the whole time they went, I was like, right, so what's the time period between her getting captured and them actually rescuing her? What could happen within sort of like that 12-hour period? And then the next thing we know, like they all arrive in the desert at the same time. I'm like, this dude's just traveled there in a fucking sand tunnel, and you've taken a plane that is ridden by pedals, and you've both arrived at the same point at the same time. I'm like, bullshit, man.
But they have Captain Winston Havelock of the RAF to fly that plane, and he gets them.
But they even went home and went to bed and had a sleep before they even decided to get in this plane. And this guy's traveling via tornado, and they're traveling via plane with no engine. And I'm like, and then they just casually meet together in the desert. I was like, oh, okay, that's coincidental.
I love Captain Winston. That was such an unnecessary story addition, but I fucking loved it.
Yeah,
die in battle. we have a battle for you to die in. Great. Like there was absolutely no point for his character. But he was fucking brilliant. I loved it.
I love how early on they see him in the bar and they're like, "Oh, hi, Captain Winslow." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, he's going to come back in later on."
Right.
And then he does.
And it's when he goes, so it's a battle. Chance I won't make it. Tally ho, pip, pip, fire up the engines. Let's go. I was like, yes, you are the fucking man.
He didn't even get to the battle though because of the plane crash. And I was like, that's a little bit sad. Like, it would have been nice for him to at least see the mummies.
Yeah, he did get chased by a giant mouth sand wave though.
So just as good.
That could have just been like a cloud. Like there's a
cloud. How many clouds have you seen that look like this?
Don't you ever go like cloud looking and you like
no.
cloud looking? No, but you stare at the clouds. You're like looking. Look, we were born before
cloud looking.
Cloud looking is the
sunbathe, but like
look at the clouds.
Like, just sunbathe and you stare at the clouds. You're like, that one is like a dinosaur.
Yeah, that was the cloud looking.
Okay, I don't know what to fucking call it though. There wasn't a name for it. I was just share it with.
But he wasn't going cloud looking.
No, I know.
No, this wasn't his Sunday hobby.
I'm sorry, I feel bad.
No, do you?
I understand what cloud looking
Captain
is.
Winston would have my back. Watching.
They all arrive in the temple, all kind of at the same time, and this is where we get Rick tries to save Evelyn, who's strapped down, and we also get the mummies or the king's guards are resurrected, and this is where Jonathan finds the book, and he's trying to read from the book to stop the guards, and he actually brings the guards back by reading it. Like, I think this scene's really cool. The fact that they bring the guards back and then he manages to stop them. But the fight scene, awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
The fight scene is good. Can you imagine though spending your afterlife just like
cloud looking?
Call back to battle to defend someone you don't care about anymore. It's been a millennia. Leave me alone.
I might name this episode "The Mummy." #cloud looking.
Well, I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Cloud looking.
Honestly, like, while you're listening to this, just lay in the grass and look at the cloud.
Yeah. Not very often I wake up hoping for not to be a clear day.
This is the problem in England. It's either like nothing or overcast, and that you can't really see shapes when it's overcast.
No, it's okay.
Exactly that.
We'll go cloud watching tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we'll do it.
We're going to start tonight and cloud watching tomorrow.
Cloud looking.
The one thing
Just
I'll
laid
say
there in the
with
back garden looking for Mufasa.
You wait, it's going to be a new Tinder thing where it's like listen to start cloud looking.
They dispatch Imhotep really easy. Like all this build up and all this fight and everything he puts in, and they kill him in like a second. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
then.
very underwhelming.
Yeah.
Like they took his soul. I was like, all right, okay, so he's mortal now. He's gonna have a really cool like sword fight or something with Rick. And no, he just stabs him and he dies. I was like,
yeah.
Hey, shit.
They leave the cave, and this is where Benny is like carrying as much shit as he can, and like it triggers almost like a Cave of Wonders, like Aladdin style collapse where everything's closing and they get out, and Benny's like trying to drag everything, then he drops it, and like Rick's holding his hand up going, come on Benny, I'll save you. And then when Benny doesn't make it, he's like, oh well, bye Benny, and
Bye,
just
Benny.
Leaves.
Yeah.
But what did you want him to do?
Well, maybe not say, oh well, bye Benny.
Like get a chisel and hammer and like dig him out.
Yeah,
Benny
it was a cool throwback though to the moment where he threw him off the boat and he was like, goodbye Benny. And I think he even says goodbye Benny as well when he knocks him off the horse. So
Yeah,
like
he
he does say it quite regularly throughout the film. So it was still a cool little circle back.
Goodbye Benny.
See, I think they made a mistake killing Benny, because I think Benny would have been a good character to have in The Mummy Returns and Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I think if he had survived, bringing him back and making him a reoccurring character throughout the series, I think would have been very, very funny.
haven't seen The Mummy Returns in a long time. Do we know for sure that he's dead? Like, could he have still technically?
Yeah, he's dead.
Okay.
He gets eaten alive by the scarabs. He's definitely dead.
I was like, because like I know that's what it looked like was going to happen, but he could have like become god of the scarabs or something. Like
The movie ends. The movie ends with a kiss and a ride off into the sunset. And I think now is a good time to take a break, unless anyone's got anything else they want to cover.
I love the brother tries to get a kiss from the camel. That was like a highlight for me. That was so good. I felt so left out.
The thing is, like, I think every bloke's been there when his mate pulls a really fit girl and like the camel's the only option. Like, we've all been there.
Wow, Scott.
Yeah. We've all been there.
Even you've had some wild nights out.
Not so wild.
Oh, not so wild and slightly offensive.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how many times you've been the one kissing the camel, though.
Yeah. Let's take a break. We're going to call it there.
I do. I don't know that anyone else does.
I say something that comes across from the movie.
I don't always remember what you're quoting from the movie.
Me neither.
But there's been a couple times where I've gotten to what you were going to say ahead of you, so that's good.
The Dewey Pod Monster podcast is something truly unique. Hosted by John and Sean, this show brings you everything you could possibly want about consumption, whether that's craft beers, TV, film, video games, or just general banter. These guys nail it every single week.
Yes, couldn't have ninjas, throwing stars, headbutts, ear claps, nunchucks. The word ninja and kids stuff.
Well, if the world of VHS is your thing, the only place you can go is Video Tasties. Hosted by Gareth, this show brings you everything. Live watch-along parties with special guests, deep dives, behind-the-scenes footage, and of course, a look at his fabulous VHS collection. For these and all the other members of the You Run Podcast Network, head over to yourunpodcast.com, your home of entertainment. So make sure you head over to yourunpodcast.com, check out all the other members of the You Run Podcast Network. The links for everyone there. There's all manner of shows in every possible thing you can imagine. And our guest, the Horror Friendly Podcaster there as well, who are still laughing, still have the giggles. Before we roll on, Mark, it's time for your recommended account. And I know you're not ready and I've not got music. You just get one.
I actually am.
I'm back.
Oh, fire away then. Who's your recommended account?
I did have an actual account lined up for this week, but due to the content of this episode, I did a quick search. And this week's recommended account of the week is Clouds_Fantasy Imagination. So if you go on Instagram, this is a cloud-looking account that basically photographs clouds and draws shapes around the clouds that they have seen to visualize what they are.
Fuck every one of you. I was right. I'm not insane.
I have a sneaking suspicion this may be your account. We will ask you after the show, but there you go. This is an actual thing, and you can find them on Instagram at clouds_fantasy_imagination.
That's fabulous. Let's do some facts. Let's do some facts. So, Brendan Fraser nearly died during the scene when he was hung, because when he was hung, he was actually hung and had to be resuscitated. He stopped breathing and had to have some resuscitation to bring him back. He effectively died on set.
Jesus.
Wow. That's intense. Yeah, man, you could not do that these days.
So
there'd be a stunt bubble there taking the hand.
Yeah, this is very true.
Benny is not liked on set by the camels. So every camel on
I was going to say by everybody.
Every single camel on set hated Benny. He couldn't get them to move for him. He couldn't get them to do anything for him. And they insisted on trying to bite him whenever he went near. Benny actually had to have a handler with him whenever he was with a camel because they hated him so much.
I know, the clouds look great, Tel. We're looking at facts now.
Are you still on the cloud? Yes. Brilliant.
Recommended account.
I'm a woman. I can multitask.
Okay.
So the scene in the library where she knocks all the bookcases down, That was done in one take. If they hadn't done it in one take, it would have taken a full 24 hours to reset it to shoot it again.
I did say this at the time. I was like, how do you pick them back up? Because they're all laying on each other. That's impressive.
I know, and he was like, "Oh, I don't care how you do it, but tidy this up." I'm like, there is no way she is lifting those bookcases
on her own.
No.
That's actually why she had to go and like resurrect the mummy, because she was like, I need help.
And anything about picking up those fucking books.
Yeah,
like...
bring the army. I need all the hands all day.
There was a lot of nudity in this. So the scene where you get Anoxima Moon and she's all covered in paint, like in that scene, she was only wearing the loincloth and a couple of pieces of jewelry, and they digitally removed the bits that you could see so you couldn't see them. This is also the case when Rachel Weisz jumped off the boat in her nightgown. When she gets out of the water, the nightgown went completely see-through, so they digitally removed everything you could see. Now, the bit that didn't get cut, so when the guy gets the scarab under his skin and he's flapping around and he's like beating at his shorts to get it out, the actor insisted that he didn't want to wear underwear for that scene because it was uncomfortable. And when there's a moment where he's screaming, "Help me," and brushing his lower half, his testicles keep falling out of his shorts. They had to edit this scene so heavily, but they still left 3 or 4 shots in where his testicles are hanging out the side of his shorts.
They had to leave a couple in there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Wow, it's like in the Cats film when they had to CGI Jason Derulo's dick out of the cat costume.
I never watched it.
Why did they do that? What? Because it was so big, or
because it was just like they had to get rid of it. It was distracting.
Come on, Jason. What a lad.
What a hardship for him.
I mean, that's not something you're going to be embarrassed about, is it? Being in a fact checker, it's like, oh, they had to digitally remove my penis. It's like, yeah, hey lads, have you seen this? I think I'd have that on my Instagram bio if that was me, to be honest with you.
I'm not being funny, but when they film a scene, like each individual bit only takes like 30 seconds or something because they have to break it down so much for cameras. Just wear the boxers for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Occasionally, men have to be uncomfortable.
This set had lots and lots of problems, so they did film on location. The cast had to have a special drink every 2 hours to keep them hydrated. Now, sandstorms happened daily. Snakes, spiders, and scorpions were a major problem, with several crew members having to be airlifted to a hospital after being bitten on set.
Wow. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a fun ride, does it?
No.
Actually, that's one thing we didn't mention is Brendan Fraser actually shoots a bug at one point, like a beetle, which seems a little excessive rather than just stamping on the thing.
I mean, I don't know. I did see it earlier on in the film, like work its way through a leather-soled shoe. So,
to be fair, actually, we might have seen his testicle if he hadn't shot the
Who knows what would have happened?
Who knows what would happen?
We spoke about this movie earlier. Mark said it might have some historical facts. It kind of does. That Imhotep was a real historical figure, but he wasn't a high priest of the pharaoh. He was actually an architect. He designed the very first pyramids. Now, the king or the emperor or whatever you call him, the pharaoh, that pharaoh that they use in this, which is Seti, he was an actual pharaoh, but he wasn't alive at the same time as Imhotep. And the woman who plays the Queen Anoxima Moon, she was also alive, but she lived 300 years before any of the others. So they picked people from history who were not in the same time period and just slung them together.
Right.
Finally, this was nearly...
Yeah. Like Cleopatra was actually born like closer to the first Pizza Hut than she was to like the pyramids. And
yeah. I saw that on Instagram the other day.
What a weird thing I know. I should enter a pub with.
This was nearly a horror movie. So when this first came about, this was Clive Barker was going to direct this film. And
that sounds awful. Clive Barker cannot direct a movie. I've seen the first Hellraiser.
You need to stop, because he was about to bring on George A. Romero as his co-director. And they were going to do a zombie-style mummy movie in the same vein as Night of the Living Dead, but set in Egypt.
Why
Oh, that
hasn't
sounds
there been
awesome.
a zombie mummy movie?
I don't know.
Other than it's hard to say.
Zombie mummy.
Zombie mummy.
I mean, we do get a bit of it here with the final plague, with the boils and thingy. He has that like plague army, doesn't he? That's quite cool.
That
Yeah,
is
again.
no. There's a market for that. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I'd pay to see it.
I'll do it.
come on, yeah, we've got the budget.
Yeah. There are no voicemails or Spotify comments this week, not because we don't have them, but because we're recording in advance, so people haven't sent them in yet, technically. We have a new feature, which we done last week, and we're going to do it again. It's called What Are You Looking At? So we posted this picture on social media and simply asked what the cast members were looking at. And we had a lot of response to this. Bear in mind, I only posted this today. So the first one we had Monster Nero NJ, Austin Powers dancing in his pants. The Telehell podcast, how big Brendan Fraser got for the whale.
That's not real, is it? That I mean, he didn't. There's no way. That's like life-changing sort of stuff. There's no way he got that big.
He did gain weight because obviously time had passed, but no, some of it was a fat suit.
Most of it was, I think.
Most of it was a fat suit. I would imagine being that big.
I don't know the ratio.
No, I'm not asking for numbers. I'm just saying that's excessive on that.
We got Nightmare, the right side of the river. We got an account that I can't pronounce, which is I think Ganeshu, and they put the uncomfortable pool sex scene from Showgirls. That one.
Okay.
I mean, that is the correct reaction, to be fair.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Showgirls. Should I watch it?
Yeah.
I've heard it's like the worst movie ever made.
It is. I'd watch it for that reason. Randomly, Eric, Mark's arch nemesis, went security footage of the camel in the back. So he's talking about the camel behind them, teabagging all three of them while they slept the night before.
Why would your mind go there?
I don't know. Mike, the movie misfit, they're looking at the bad CGI from the Scorpion King.
See, that's bad CGI.
That's
That's terrible.
Worse.
Lumberjay Reviews went with Tom Cruise's The Mummy.
Yeah, nice.
Is that bad as well? Is that like really bad, or is that one of those things where people are just hating on it for the sake of hating on it?
It's shit.
It's not.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've seen it come on like Netflix recently, and I was contemplating watching it. I was like, oh, I don't know. I've heard it's really, really bad. I don't want to waste 2 hours of my life.
Just don't. If you want, just go onto YouTube and find like best bits of The Mummy with Tom Cruise. You'll get like a 3-minute video, and it's done.
All right, okay, I'll do that instead.
Dissect That Film Pod when they're looking at Las Vegas. The Activist Cosplayer, again, some shameless promotion. They're looking at my massive board game collection. And finally,
that's impressive. I
From
think
the whole
one
nerd.
We got this one about 3 seconds before we recorded, and I frantically rushed to get this in. Old Nerdy Bastard. Oh my God, they're looking at Scott because he's pierced down there.
Why even show that picture as well, man? I don't need that.
It's a banana. Why have you got
the insinuation is enough.
What?
I think it was just the. And so was it the other testicles they were looking at?
But it is that time in the show where we take our really happy, really laughy, really jokey guests and we make them get really, really serious.
Broken Spirit 2.0, making tears of people flow. No lifelines, no one helps. These questions will make you yap. Broken Spirit 2.0, making tears of people flow. No lifelines, no one helps. These questions will make you yap. Broken Spirit, broken spirit, broken spirit, broken spirit.
So it is that time again where we put our guests up against our hardest quiz. There are 10 questions, 10 points per question for everyone you get correct. If you get one wrong, you lose all your points and leave with nothing, just like Marc did. Get 6 right.
This is punishment. Is this what happens if you lose all your points?
Yeah. Get 6 right and you'll be top of the leaderboard. So you can get as many right as you want and you can walk away with your points. But if you get one wrong, you lose everything. These quizzes.
We did really well on your last quiz, and now I feel like there's pressure, and we're drunk.
It's a lot harder now.
It's a lot harder, and also the pressure is going to be higher because these quizzes are themed. And I had a moment earlier today when I wrote this episode where I went, I feel like a bit of an arsehole. So the theme today is horror-friendly podcast. I feel bad for it. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Are you sure?
I feel bad for it now, but this quiz is all about your show.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
This is slightly easier. This isn't.
Is it?
I don't know.
So,
go,
who would you like to ask you the first question, me or Marc?
Sure, go for it, Scott.
Okay.
Why do I look so ready?
What was the first episode you ever released?
Scream. 1996.
That is when I find my soundbite.
Oh, we can't do it a second.
So question number 2. You have covered 5 movies that feature Matthew Lillard. Can you name 2 of them? Also, I think this question is a bit bullshit. I'm going to be honest with you, but we'll see how you get on.
Scream and 5 Nights at Freddy's.
That is correct. They haven't covered 5 movies that feature Matthew Lillard. You can't ask that question. That's
Scream, 13 Ghosts, 5 Nights at Freddy's, Scream 3, where he is on camera, and Scream 2022, where he's also on camera.
Is he?
No.
Yeah, gold Ghostface.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, it's not. That's not, man.
Like, we did 3 of them, not 5. Clearly, we don't know our
Like 7 ghosts.
You got it right, so it's fine.
Right, do so far. Let's retire. 100%.
Back in January of 2024, you covered the shit show that is Cocaine Bear. But what year was this movie released?
2023 or 2022?
No, I feel like it was like
2023.
Well, oh, sorry.
No, I think it's pretty
was
new.
it 23?
My instant go-to was 23.
I'm gonna let you answer this one. I did the last 2.
2023. I'm gonna say 2022 because I don't think my answer is correct. 2022.
You sure? Are you sure you want to go for that?
No. 3?
2023.
Correct!
Hey, go on, Katie.
You was right with your first instinct.
I made the posters and I had no idea.
I write the description, so I should fucking know. Okay.
So question number 4. What is the oldest movie you have covered on the show?
Oh, Nosferatu, the 1922?
Yeah, it must be because Dracula was earlier.
Yeah,
later,
the original one.
Nosferatu,
Yeah. That's correct. Well done.
I was like, I know it's that one. I don't know what year. No, that was recent.
Question number 5. If you get this right, this will put you in tied for first place at the moment. In March 2022, you covered a movie starring Johnny Depp. What was it?
Sleepy Hollow.
Correct!
I think it's
Man, you guys know your show very, very well. I hardly know what I did last week.
only because the other one was way earlier and we've only done 2 to him.
So question number 6. You got to be fucking kidding me is a line from what movie you covered in February 2024?
Last year, February. You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Just remember at the moment you're currently tied in first place, so you can walk away and stay at top of the leaderboard. If you do guess and you get this question right, you're currently in the lead. If you get it wrong, you will walk away with 0 points and join me quite comfortably at the bottom.
I'm assuming I can't open the spreadsheet.
No.
No. Wait, February 24, and it was, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
That's correct.
Oh, I think we quoted it in the post.
Can you remember what kind of movies you did in February? Did you have the theme that month? Or
no, we don't do
We did quote it in a post, didn't we?
Was it?
You did
Okay,
quote
can
in
you
a post.
was it just us 2? Was it us 2 and Charlie?
I'm not going to tell you. I will tell you that the movie you covered came out in 1982.
No, I know it, but I don't know it.
So 1982.
We put it in a post.
Could have been.
And it's something like stupid. Like it's.
You have already mentioned it on this podcast tonight, by the way.
Have we?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
It'll be The Thing or Alien.
It'll be The Thing, I think.
I think maybe The Thing.
The Thing?
The Thing.
Is that your final answer? No, we're too late. He's already put his soundbite in. That's it. You guys are in the lead.
Yeah, but now we still can't lose it. Okay.
Is it me? Yeah, it's me. Yeah.
It is you, yeah.
Question number 7. Excluding your Fright Fest episodes and including 28 Days Later, how many zombie movies have you covered on the show? 1, 3, 5, or 7?
Wait, 1, 3, 5, or 7? Are we counting One Cut of the Dead?
That is very much a zombie movie.
Well, you say that, but is it?
It is, yeah. I would consider that a zombie movie.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
No.
Wait, what were the options? 1, 3, 5, or 7?
Yeah.
The only person I've ever known on the quiz to get out a pen and paper.
Sorry, did you say excluding or including 28 Days Later?
Include that.
I just love how far into this quiz you've got the seriousness in the tone of the two of you. It's changed drastically.
That was Night of the Living Dead. 28 Days Later. What was the one with the yellow school teacher?
Oh,
Little Monsters.
I would have said 3, mate.
Little Monsters 4.
What else have we done?
Well, we're already closer to.
We're already closer to 5. Let's say 5. Because it was more than 3 in it. So
more than 3.
Should I say 5?
Let's say 5.
5.
Correct!
Hey!
You are flying through this quiz.
You were 3 away from being the first ones to break Broken Spirit, and it's the first episode that I've put the winning sound on because I was concerned you may break it.
Because we know ourselves really well.
Yeah.
I love how you're just doing this and doing cheers with a pint glass of wine. This is just brilliant. Question number 8. In the film The Blair Witch Project that you have covered last summer, what are the 3 characters' names?
You can walk away and take the top spot, or you can take a guess.
There's definitely a
Heather.
Josh.
There is a Josh. You're fucking right. There's Josh. Heather, Josh.
It's
one more.
It's a generic white guy name.
It's like Matt or Mike.
Mike.
Michael. That sounds.
Do we do this, or do we just take?
I don't know.
So what have you got so far? What's your thoughts?
Heather,
Josh. I think it's Mike or Michael.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes. Fuck it. Let's just
Let's go with Mike.
That is correct. Well done.
Thank you, generic white guy.
I like the way they use like generic white guy with an M. I was like, if they say Mark, I'm going to be so pissed right now.
It shouldn't be.
Sorry, you've got a bitch to you.
You've got it out from Marc tonight.
I know, that's why you catch me out with questions.
Question number 9. How many Fright Fest special episodes did you release?
Too many.
I think it was 32.
Do you? We had a night of a spreadsheet, and we
literally had to.
No, not films you covered. How many episodes did you release?
Okay. It depends though, because we did it differently on Spotify or on
Spotify.
YouTube. Okay.
On Spotify.
Then I don't know, because I did 3 times on YouTube.
I did this bit, so I have no idea.
7 or 8. Are you including the roundup?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, mate.
I asked that as if it would help.
I should say this. I did it.
I think it's 7 or 8, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'd guess I would say 8, but is it worth risking?
There was Charlotte.
We can't do this, can we?
No, I'm going to try. Charlotte something or something. Members Club something or something. What was Members Club in the first
I
film?
love that, like,
Cinderella's Curse.
if any Fright Fest films are watching this, we're just like,
No,
something,
but I just can't
something.
remember what was together. So Charlotte.
Okay, Charlotte, Members Club.
And
This is-
Cinderella's Curse.
Yeah.
Then what was in the second episode?
We covered so many films. Okay, right. Okay,
Right,
we need to make a decision.
10. I can't remember what was in that one yet. I don't know why that only came to head because we mentioned it in our last actual episode. Ah, fuck. I know.
I'm going to add a bit of pressure.
Number 7.
Fuck it.
No, he's looking nervous.
I think it's 8.
Was it 8 with the roundup?
I think it's 8.
Was it?
What are you going for? 7 or 8?
Fucking no. Was it 8 and then a roundup?
I'm not going to tell you.
Was the roundup separate? I don't know. Mark's looking really nervous.
8 with the roundup.
This is the furthest anybody's got, and I really want you guys to succeed. So I'm like,
Fine.
where are you going with this?
Okay. 8. Let's go 8.
Correct!
Absolutely killing it. This is brilliant. Right. This is your 10th and final question.
Are we at 10? Was that 10? Damn.
This is it. This is your 10th and final question. You get this right, you are the first people to win Broken Spirit 2.0. So
we're going through them really quickly, except for the last one.
don't lose track now. This is it. Pay attention. This is your last question. In Sharknado 2, the second one, Rachel True plays a first officer, Joni Valentine. But what 90s cult classic is she most associated with?
Can you repeat the question?
I'll try again. I butchered it the first time around. In Sharknado 2, the second one, Rachel True plays the first officer, Joni Valentine. But in what 90s cult classic is she most associated with? I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember who Joni Valentine is, let alone what movie she's been in prior.
Who did Rachel True play?
The first officer.
Oh, shit, sorry.
With the guy from Airplane.
Oh, sorry, the pilot.
Yes.
Right. You said officer, my brain went to police. I'm very dumb.
That's where my brain went to. That's how much I remember that film.
You know what? I didn't recognize her, so I'm not sure I'm going to know.
No, I don't know.
Do you think we should cut our losses?
Yeah, let's call it that.
I mean, I think where you are right now is going to be incredibly difficult to beat. To take a gamble on something you're unsure about would be very brave.
Start naming random shows. I feel like I want another question. I wanted to get 10, but
okay.
No,
No,
we're going to call
we
it
don't
that.
know, so we're going to call it.
Call it
What's
that.
the answer, though? Maybe we need to watch this. Was it good?
Well, you are top of the leaderboard with 90 points, and Rachel True is from The Craft.
Oh, shit.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. Never
I'm
seen
actually
it,
really
you know?
good because I always see it advertised and I just haven't started watching it. If
Yeah,
I started watching it, I might have known that.
It's a film. It's a film.
Right, start watching. Yeah, that.
Yeah, you can start watching a film.
Yeah.
True.
I thought either way.
Yeah.
Either way,
Either way.
if I'd watched it, I might have known.
I wouldn't be downhearted, girls. You have done fantastic. To get 90 points on this quiz is incredible. So well done. Congratulations.
If people beat us, though, we'll have to come back and like reclaim our title.
Oh, I will definitely beat you at some point this year. It's just how many attempts it takes me to get there. That's the question.
Fighting talk, Mark.
Bring it on.
Let's round up this movie. I'm going to take this first because mine is really short and sweet. This is full of nostalgia. It's 100% not a horror movie and should not have appeared on this show, but I had a blast with it. I love the cast. I love the story. It's captivating. It's funny. It is scary for younger viewers. I sat and watched this with my son, and there were times that he was like, "Ugh." I was like, "That's all right, don't worry."
Horror young.
Yeah, this is the definition of brain off watching. Like, you don't need to be engaged to enjoy this movie. And yeah, it's good, but it's not great. It gets a 3.5 out of 5. Where are you two with this?
I give this a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's great. Like, I think the nostalgia is big for me, but also I think I would enjoy it just as much, like watching it now than when I did back then. Yeah, I really enjoy it. So I think I would always like, if anyone wanted, I think it would be a good, like, as we say, like pizza party film where you just watch it with a few beers and play a few drinking games with it. I think it's a perfect film for that. So yeah, I think like it's kind of on that not quite, but on that sort of, as we were saying, Jurassic Park level for me. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. What about you?
I'm gonna go 4 for very similar. Like, yeah, I think I mean we put it on, and as soon as I was like, oh, I'm watching this for to cover it, my partner was like, I'll watch that with you. Like, it's still got that. Oh, it's the Brendan Fraser one. Yeah, I'll watch that. Like, it's still got that like pull. We all remember it from like when we used to go to Blockbuster, and we still watch it now and enjoy it. And I think, I think that's really incredible that all these years later, it's still one of those films that we love. And I think fair play to it, because it could have. I think the thing is, it could have been done in a bad way. It could have been racist. It could have been aged badly. It could have been, like we said, like, is it problematic? I would say no, but I think they did like enough right, or everything right, that actually it still stood the test of time.
Yeah,
and we almost find the CGI charming rather than like picking at it. I think that's good.
Yeah, Mark, you're up.
For me, I thought I was coming into this basing this on nostalgia, but it actually holds little to no nostalgia for me at all, really, because I've realized that my love for the Mummy franchise comes from The Mummy Returns, and this was basically like watching a new movie to me. I had no idea about the hour and 10-minute build up in discovering the land, and then the stuff that comes after it. So I was really invested in it from that standpoint, because it was almost like a new movie to me that I'd never seen before. I knew the characters well, and I knew where the plot was going, but I didn't know the progression and what it took to get there. So I was really invested in it. I think it holds up very well. I think the CGI holds up very well. I think the casting is great. I think the comedy is a product of its time. I think it's very late 90s humor. I don't mind it, because I kind of live in that era, and I live in that sort of wheelhouse of silly 90s movies. But I can imagine a lot of people who had never seen this before coming into it wouldn't gel with it as well as most of us oldies probably would. But I got this really weird feeling when watching this of when I was younger, my dad introducing me to Indiana Jones and the Indiana Jones movies. Like, for me, this is probably when my son gets a little bit older, I'm going to do a similar thing, but not with Indiana Jones movies. I'm going to make him watch the Mummy movies. And I kind of got a real warm feeling from watching it this time around. And it also made me feel slightly old at the same time. But I loved it. I had a great time with it. It's not as great as I wanted it to be on a rewatch. It has made me really desperate to go and watch The Mummy Returns, though, because I do know I love that movie unconditionally. So I'll probably watch that later on this evening after we finish recording. But I'm with you guys. I'm sort of somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4. I think because it's The Mummy, I'm probably going to go higher. I'll give it a 4, even though it probably doesn't deserve that much of a higher score. But yeah, it's great. It's great. If you grew up with these films, you're going to love it on a rewatch. If you haven't, I think you would still enjoy it as a first-time watch, knowing it's a product of its time. I found it to be great. There's not really much else I can say about it. It's a 90s Universal movie. That's kind of where it is. You kind of know what you're getting yourself in for when you turn it on.
Yeah. And I think they're fair scores kind of across the board. We're at the part of the show where you two girls get to sell your show as best you can. What does it do? Where do we find it? How does it work? How cool is it?
Super cool.
We talk about clouds for weeks.
Look, clouds are cool, okay?
That needs to be a t-shirt.
Cool. Look, we're the kids in school that weren't cool, but now as adults, everyone's like, yeah, we weren't cool either, so we'll be your friends. Yeah. Which it's us two, it's two friends. We've known each other a bloody lifetime, taking the piss, watching films. Some of them are really serious, some of them are, Sharknado. And it is literally that we cover horror films, but we give it from a female perspective, which means, we've covered things like American Psycho, where we really took a deep dive into the abuse against women, and we got really into that like heavy topic. And then we've got other days, as you said, where we cover Cocaine Bear or Sharknado, and we rip the shit out of it. And we just really love what we do, and we hope that comes across. And we are on YouTube, we're on Spotify, and it's just us having fun. We laugh a lot. We're normally drinking, so apologies if that's not your thing. You don't have to join in. It's not encouraged. Sometimes we're completely stone cold sober, and that works too. But we release every Monday, or as many Mondays as we possibly can. And yeah, check us out because it's just us having fun talking about something we love. So we want to bring more people along for the ride.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Excellent.
your show's great. And I listen to your show every week, and I'm not just saying that because you're members of the network. But I've listened to your show long before you were members of the network, and I still listen now. And the way if anyone asks what your show's like, I always describe you as you are the female equivalents of me and Marc. So you both drink, you both dig at each other. You basically you do exactly what we do, but you do it from a female perspective. And I think your show is fabulous, and everyone needs to check it out. Look, Spotify, Horror Friendly Podcast on Instagram, also yourunpodcast.com, link there to the show as well. Go and check the Horror Friendly Podcast out. That's about it for this week. Next week, we're going to be back. We're going to take on a brand new theme as we slip into a new month. And that theme is things we missed in recent years. And there is a lot. There's also a very special episode in there as we hit episode 200, where Marc went against the grain, and we're doing a super poll of movies where I picked lots of things that are new that we missed, and Marc picked 8 movies from
Good
1983.
movies.
Yeah. So that's going on at the moment. So episode 200 is going to be good. And there's some real special things I've got planned for that episode, especially for Marc. Marc's going to have a riot on that episode.
Brilliant. I'm not looking forward to that now. Like, I was really excited about the episode, but I remember back in the olden days where every episode was a punishment. I feel like you're just going back in time now.
Well, it's episode 200, so we're reliving like the journey to get here. So we're going to have to relive some of the shit times so we can relive the good times.
That's how you grow, Marc.
Yeah, no. It was a rough ride the first probably 50, 60 episodes, I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of like where I am now. Can we just stick with what we're doing at the moment?
Yeah, well, episode 200 is going to be great. But until then, make sure you check out the Horror Friendly Podcast. And Kate and Chantel, thank you so much for coming on and joining us. It's been a blast.
Thank you for putting up with us.
You're always welcome. And what's great is like we don't edit, so everyone is going to see you as raw and as genuine as you actually are. They're not going to get the polished, edited version that they get on your show. They're going to get the
two giggling schoolgirls that we've had to put up with all night.
Yeah, drinking pints of wine.
Literally in our 30s, we should know better.
You say this, but we don't edit out a lot of this anyway. Like,
we edit so much of our episodes.
No, but not this shit. I don't on YouTube. That'll be so much extra work.
Yeah.
We literally recently, like as Scott said at the beginning, horror fucking, because we kind of changed our logo because we were like, friendly doesn't really work because we do swear and we're atrocious and we giggle and drink the entire way through the episode. So why the friendly doesn't help? We are friendly. We're just atrocious at the same time.
I still think probably the crowning moment for your show for me was there was an episode, I can't remember what episode it was, and you dropped the C-bomb and I nearly choked on my cup of coffee because you hadn't done it before and you'd done it and I was like, fuck, okay, they're going there, right, okay. And I think it was from that moment.
Quite a few times now, so I don't even know when the first time was.
Yeah,
we'll have to figure out when was our first C-bomb.
Yeah,
it's question.
It's commonplace now. I like it. I think it's great.
We love it when we meet with our American friends and it really scares them.
They're like, you say that word?
So that's my favorite word, but we can't say it here. And we're like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah,
we'll have to find that.
Again, thank you for coming on. But until we meet next time, have a good week. Go and check out the Horror Friendly Podcast. And remember, only ever gamble with your life, never with your money.
You want to die tonight?
Jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. But run podcast, horror movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. Thank you for taking us on this chilling ride, when nightmares roll free and comedy collide. With your podcast we laugh and cringe, but your content is so good we can't help but binge. You run podcast. You run podcast.
Honey, you mean punctually.